Hi, I'm glad you're here. Mystery shopping. In this video, we're going to discuss differences between mystery shops and audit shops. Self-assigned shops versus what I call hereback shops. On location shops versus phone and or web shops. And single assignments versus circuit assignments of shops. I've been a mystery shopper for more than a year and a half now in an urban, though smallish city. Your results may differ from mine, and some of the factors that could come into play are age, gender, location, among other things. Different criteria could rule you out of an assignment or qualify you for an assignment. An example of this would be how I am obviously aged out of alcohol and tobacco compliance shops where age checks are required. I have not been carded in quite some time. But setting aside criteria for shops, there are some aspects to all shops that are going to be the same for everybody. And that's what I sort of want to discuss today. So let's start with mystery shops versus audit shops. Mystery shops. In this situation, a secret shopper is going to go into a physical location, a business, and pretend to be a customer. It's going to be done on site. While doing a mystery shop, a secret shopper will visit places like, but not limited to, I've made a list, retail stores of all variety. Okay? A bank, a hotel, a testing center, a gym, a post office, a restaurant, a car wash, an auto repair shop, an apartment leasing office, a community for older adults, a daycare. I've even seen an assignment for a church, and the list goes on and on. I tell you this to tell you there are so many opportunities out there. While you are on site during a mystery shop, you will need to take mental note, without being obvious, of time frames of service, quality of service, friendliness, cleanliness, signage, if certain products or services are being recommended, how they're being recommended, any infractions of company standards or protocols that will be outlined in your assignment guidelines, the amount of stock that is presented, how it's organized, how things look, if music is being played, all sorts of things. And these will all be outlined for you in your guidelines, the guidelines of your assignment. But during a mystery shop, you will need to take note of these in a discreet manner without making yourself obvious. But it will be key not to be memorable, not to stand out, to try to appear as one of any number of other customers while you are taking note of all of these things. You'll leave the location and submit a report about everything that you found. And that's a mystery shop done on site. Audits. Audits are different. Shoppers usually reveal themselves to staff or management during a job. There are some unrevealed audit jobs, but during most, you're going to be a known quantity on site. As with mystery shops, most audit jobs are done at a physical location on site somewhere. During many, if not most, audit jobs, you will, again, notify staff. Often you'll even present staff with a printed out letter written by the company who has assigned you this job this letter will notify them that you are authorized to examine the location, to take photographs, to check for areas of compliance. These jobs can often last longer than a quick in and out mystery job. You may be there for a little while, not always, but sometimes you're going to be checking quite a few facets. I bought this safety vest to do some audits at gas stations and commercial locations, industrial type locations, and then I never applied for those jobs. So I've done some audits, not many. I can't speak to them as well as I can speak to mystery shops. But some people do really well with them, and they may be a very good fit for you. It's kind of a shame that I haven't used this vest, as I think it really sets my eyes off. Don't you? But anyway, some things that you may need to check out and document on a form or photograph during an audit job are, and again, I've made a list. Do businesses have proper signage on site that a brand or a company requires? Are they promoting certain products, certain types of products that the company wants to be promoted? Do businesses have anything for sale that they should not? Because these items look like standard common items, but really can be used as drug paraphernalia and are not ideal to be sold to minors. I've seen these things listed during gas station audits in particular that you're supposed to look for. Is equipment on site functional, up to date, clean? Is paint chipped? Does everything look appealing to customers? Are the premises clean? Is staff appropriately uniformed? Does landscaping meet company standards? During an audit, you may be checking out these things along with a host of other things and reporting back. So mystery shops and audit shops are generally both done on site at a physical location. Mystery shops are usually done covertly. You are told not to be memorable. You are told to blend in. And during the revealed audits, you are identifying yourself as a representative of the company who is authorized to look into things. There are unrevealed audit jobs, and in fact, I see these on the job boards, and they usually pay pretty well. I don't apply for them because they look like they would be difficult for me to pay off. For example, sometimes you may be requested to go into a retail location and price check many items, and to do so without drawing any attention to yourself. Well, I skew toward being a talker and a visitor, all right? And also I'm short, so I have difficulty reaching higher shelves. And for these reasons and maybe others, I don't think I would do great on these jobs, and so I don't apply for them. But they may be great fits for you, and if they are, they oftentimes pay really well. So it's something to consider. The only drawback with an unrevealed audit is that you're not going to get to rock a safety vest like this, but we do what we have to do, right? Self-assign versus apply and hear back jobs. By the way, apply and hear back is my terminology, but these are pretty self-explanatory. Many times you will be qualified on a platform to self-assign yourself a shop. Different platforms have different criteria, but one criteria that seems to spread across many platforms is your shopper ranking. So on most of the jobs that you'll do, no matter what type they are, you'll receive some sort of a score. And some of these are really straightforward in how they score you, and I've worked for a few that aren't so much so, but they still do keep some sort of a ranking on you. And if you maintain a solid ranking, you may be eligible to self-assign yourself for certain shops. And this should be apparent. It usually will say if you can self-assign yourself. If it doesn't say that, then what is happening is you're applying and you're going to hear back. I would say most of the time in these hear back sort of jobs, I find out within a day, 2 days, maybe 3 days if I've gotten a job or not. Usually I get an email saying, hey, great news, you've been assigned XYZ job, or we're sorry, but you have not been assigned this. One thing that you should know, just put in the back of your head, it doesn't happen often, it's pretty rare, but it has happened to me, is that you can apply for a job and not hear back for, a week, 2 weeks, a while. And so you kind of forget that you've even applied for that job because you've gone on now to apply for other jobs, to do other jobs, and then you get an email, hey, great news, now you're doing ABC job and on thus and so date, and you've already lined up some other jobs. So it's never been a calamity, and it doesn't happen often, but it is something to keep in mind. So you might want to sort of keep track of the applications that you place, just because every once in a while you won't hear back for quite a while. And one last note about this is that because your ranking or your score or whatever language and terminology that a certain platform uses can come into play, I would try to keep it in mind and try to do your best and try to maintain the best score that you can. But you need to just understand, right, that sometimes you're going to get dinged, and sometimes it's going to be valid. You're going to make a mistake and you're going to go, oh, right, that's true, I did that. But it has happened to me where I have gotten dinged for something that doesn't seem really valid, and you just gotta look at that and move on, okay? I wouldn't live or die over your ranking or your score. Try to keep it as solid as you can. Do your best, play the law of averages. If you do multiple number of jobs and you get one bad score, you're going to be fine, right? And most of the scores that I've ever received do seem valid, but just know that you're going to receive one once in a while that seems a little shady, not valid. Look at it, move on. Before we go on to phone and web shops, I'm going to ask for your help. If you are finding any of this information helpful, I would appreciate it if you would like this video, consider subscribing to the channel. These are free ways to help this channel, and I would appreciate it. You can also drop a comment down below, watch another video. These are all great ways to help out. Thank you. Now, phone and web shops. Phone shops. There are recorded shops and non-recorded shops. And I'll tell you, I avoided all phone shops for way too long because I felt intimidated about the technology, the process of recording calls. And I wish I wouldn't have, because these can be good shops to do in that they don't add any mileage to your car. You do them, you fit them into your day from your home and do them. And the process of doing it, the technology that's used, is very straightforward. They offer you directions and it's easy. I have not had a problem. And I'm not great with technology, so if I can do it, I mean most people can. A couple things to know about phone shops though. Almost all phone shops that I've ever applied for, they state in the guidelines to perform this call from a quiet place. I've listened to some of the playbacks of my calls. Some shops want you to do that, some don't. I've listened to some of the playbacks, and I'll tell you, I'm surprised at what noises are picked up. I mean, I've even heard papers being moved. It's not like I was crumpling them or anything. So I tell you this so that you can understand if you have noisy pets, if you have other noise that is pretty continuous in your setting, you try to find a workaround for that. Or maybe phone shops aren't the best fit for you, but that is going to come into play. Another thing you need to know about phone shops is that if you're doing multiple calls to different locations for the same company, sometimes your phone number doesn't matter, okay? I've called many different branches of different stores and just used my same number, and it never mattered. But sometimes you'll do jobs for a company who wants you to call with a different phone number every time you call one of their locations. Every time. There are apps that you can use to mask your phone number to sort of get a new phone number and then discard it. And shop guidelines will recommend these, name these, outline these for you. But your shop can be disqualified. If they want you to use a different phone number and you do not, you may not get paid. So just bear that in mind. And pro hack, if you are using an alternative phone number, write it down on something right in front of you, because you may be asked for your phone number, and nothing is going to tip someone off to the fact that you're a mystery shopper as much as you not even knowing your own phone number. So if you're using a fake phone number, just write it down so that you can just rattle it off very easily. Web jobs, online jobs. Web jobs are nice in some of the same ways that phone jobs are nice. They're done from home, they require no mileage on your car, you fit them in the schedule of your day, unless there are specified time constraints. Again, that'll be in the guidelines. One thing to note, some jobs are a hybrid of online work and phone work. For example, you may be asked to make an online inquiry to a company, see how they respond, how long it takes for them to respond, and you may need to supply any written communication that you receive back as a text or an email. You may need to put that in your report and then move on to the second stage of the job, which is a phone call. Okay, there are jobs like that that are sort of a combination of both. But let's talk about jobs that are just web jobs. Sometimes companies will want you to check out their website. Was it appealing? Was it enjoyable to use? Did it offer ease of use? Did its components load quickly and efficiently? That sort of a thing. So there are jobs like that. Some jobs may require you to do some online shopping and then evaluate that experience. Some may even be more comprehensive and ask you to evaluate what it was like to shop online, and to make a return online. And so then you would report back about the shopping experience, the return experience, the shipping experience. I've always been reimbursed for any online shopping that I've had to do, but this would be a point that is, of course, worth noting should you accept a job like that. Sometimes companies will want you to check out their app and report back on that. Was it smooth? Are there any glitches? Did it freeze? And you may be required to take screen grabs. Some online jobs will require you to compare rates across different companies, say rates of loans, for example. In jobs like these, loans, mortgages, credit cards, anything like that, anything financial, there will be important, really significant things to notice. Do these jobs want you to provide your real information? Okay, real address, real social security number, Is your credit going to come into play at all? These points will be spelled out clearly in the job description and your job guidelines, but it's very important to pay attention to these things because some jobs won't ask these things of you. There will be jobs that will want you to act as though you're going to apply for a credit card, but stop short of just doing it. So you're going to report what that experience was like up until you actually did that. But since you're stopping short of that, your credit, your name, your address, those types of things aren't really going to be used. Some jobs will require you to go ahead and complete an application. So you can see there's a big impactful difference there. It's worth noting that I have never felt any degree of pressure to apply for or perform any job that made me feel uncomfortable. Companies are very upfront about these sorts of points and expectations, and you're free to apply for a job or not apply for a job according to your comfort zones and preferences. Lastly, today I want to talk to you about single assignments versus circuits of assignments. So sometimes you will apply for and be assigned just one job. Whether it's an audit, whether it's online, whether it's in person, whether it's a mystery shop, it's just one job that you're doing. Conversely, however, sometimes circuits of jobs are offered. And again, this will be spelled out very clearly for you. Sometimes a company will want to compare your experience dealing with different brands of cars. Okay, so on the same day, you will be expected to go visit. I've done 3 to 5 car dealerships in a day, all right? And you'll go to the dealerships and they want you to compare and contrast your experience with brand A, brand B, brand C. This is called a circuit of jobs. And this is offered not just for high ticket items like cars, they could be a small purchase. Circuit jobs are nice. They usually pay pretty well. The drawback is they need to be done, usually they need to be done all in the same day. So if you're taking a circuit of 5 jobs, 5 reports, that's pretty much your day right there. That's a work day right there. So I want to spell out a difference here between a formally stated and offered circuit of jobs and a circuit of jobs that you assign for yourself. This is a way that I work a lot. I think many mystery shoppers do. Say you're going to a certain part of town because there's a job there that is desirable for whatever reason. It's an easy job or the pay is good, whatever, and you're going to be in a neighborhood that you don't usually go to very often. Well, it just makes sense if you have the time to try to pick up other jobs in that area, even if they're not really lucrative jobs in terms of pay. So if you have the cornerstone of one job that is going to earn you pretty good money, you can pad that with some smaller jobs, some one-off jobs, and now you've got a circuit that makes your trip to that part of town much more beneficial than just going for the one job. This is a circuit of jobs, true, but you yourself have designed that circuit and set that all up. It's not one that was set out for you by a company. So, mystery shopper, potential mystery shopper, friend, we've covered the difference between mystery shops and audits, self-assigned shops versus apply and hear back shops, phone jobs, web jobs, the potential hybrid of online and phone shops, and lastly, single assignments versus a circuit of assignments of shops. I hope you found this information helpful. If you have, consider checking out the next video, Pros and Cons of Mystery Shopping. I appreciate you stopping by and watching. I hope to see you next time. I'm Norma, and this is Savoring Bravery. See you in the next one.